Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a total,
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast, your special election week special edition. We're going to give a rundown of all the candidates in every single constituency, give you the best chance to get maximum points in your doll fantasy teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have your transfers set out, Carl.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still have 112 picks to go. Well, just gotta get those last 112 picks. Anybody hasn't seen this? You go on the dollfantasy.ie. I'm pretty sure it's the official government app.
I think so.
You thought they were wasting money on the bike shit. Well, get a load of this. You know, they've employed a UX designer to to build a fantasy game for the doll, where you get to pick votes. Get to pick the people in every constituency. I think if they're outgoing candidates, you get less points because like that's an easy one.
Yeah, too obvious.
Like the Healy Rays, they're not going anywhere. You know, anybody can get that.
They're premiums. Yeah,
If they get in, you get 2 points. But if someone like a breakout season for some politician, you get 10 points for them, and then -2 for each wrong guess. So you don't have to use all 174 picks. But if you know your stuff, that's the best way to do it. So, every get on that.
yeah. Get on. We'll start up the official No Nonsense Doll Fantasy League. You can win a political poster of your choice.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you actually win the whole thing out, you get elected to the doll.
Oh wow! Yeah,
Yeah, and the best thing is you get to pick who gets kicked out. So it's kind of like Money in the Bank, and that they've added in that element. So all the votes are cast, and people are elected. They're up on shoulders in parish halls around the country, and then on the big screen, all these parish halls, the winners announced, and you already picked your face. You run into the parish hall and you knock him off the shoulders. You run in, you push Simon Harris down off the shoulders, and you go, "Put me up! I'm in!
I won the game."
For any football fantasy managers out there, it might be a welcome break because you probably thought I'll just put Haaland in, make him captain, and that'll be it. That's not a good strategy this year, Will.
What we've been crying out for it. Everyone said, Haaland's ruining the game. Sure, everyone just has him captain. He scores a hat-trick every week. But now you're really seeing it's made the game harder than ever because everyone has this guy in their team, including Man City, who's worth a lot of money and he's not scoring the goals, but the second you take him out, he's going to make you pay for it.
It's the closest a lot of people come to Pep, I suppose, to the problems that Pep faces on a daily basis. You're both going through the same things. You got Haaland, who is really good. We know he's really good. He gets chances. He just doesn't put them away. I mean, they lost 4-0 against Tottenham, who as I think mentioned the show before, have always had a decent record against them, going back to like when Gareth Bale was playing.
For some reason,
I guess the comparisons you'd draw between like say Gareth Bale and teams who've beaten Man City over the years is like really fast, direct running, just like cutting through that press, I guess, on the counter. So yeah, you look at it and you go, yeah, Tottenham beat Man City, but like Haaland could have had definitely 2 goals anyways. I know people say he could have had 10, but like genuinely 2 goals he probably should have scored.
Yeah, I mean, he smashed the crossbar. It's funny as well because with Haaland, some of the chances he misses, like that one where he hit the crossbar from like the side of the box, to even be able to hit the crossbar from there is so insane. Like most other players wouldn't even be able to take that chance, but just he's such a freak that when his percentage of shots go in goes down just a little bit, it changes everything because he was able to just score everything from everywhere. And now it's It's just not happening for him. It does feel like it's luck more than anything else still, which is mad.
Yeah, it could just be being unlucky.
That's a classic striker thing. Not everyone's immune,
Yeah.
or no one's immune to it. Like,
Do you think he has one eye on Madrid, Will?
oh, I don't know about that because I think they were mentioning a new contract for him this week. So maybe his head's all wrapped up in the figures. That's why he's not scoring.
Maybe. But if you're looking at the way Mbappe's getting on or not getting on, you're thinking that, you know, when you have your own current club manager talking about, I don't care, I'll manage in League One. You're thinking, what did he say? So maybe he's thinking, fuck, maybe I need to, be thinking about my next move here. Maybe it is Madrid. Like, because wasn't that when he signed first? It was like 3 years of at City and then move on to, Barcelona or Real Madrid. Depends on which one is on top. I mean, Barcelona, Lewandowski's going well, but he can't go on forever. But there's a ready-made replacement in Haaland. Maybe think about that, I'm just saying, maybe the timelines been moved up for him. And his usual laser focus isn't what it was, and he's missing these chances that he scored the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, it was a bit mad. Last week we talked at length about Pep because the news broke just before the podcast about him getting a new contract. We were like, wow, I guess they aren't getting relegated after all. I guess, he's been told something positive. But then he just gave the craziest interview after where it seemed like he signed a new contract because they're getting relegated. And he couldn't wait to be down in League Two and get them back up season after season. It was just mad to see. Because it's like, why? why do you feel so loyal to this team to do that if they were cheating?
Well, that's what this will, right? Tinfoil hat now. Get your tinfoil.
Oh, it's already on.
Oh, good. I couldn't see it there. Oh, I see it now. It's like one of those World War I brushed hats.
It's got a spike
That's
on
cool.
the top. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's a spike. It's like a German infantry World War I hat, but in tinfoil. Pretty
Tinfoil,
cool.
yes.
Mine's just a regular old cowboy hat.
Yeah.
But my theory is, well, what do we say about Pep? What's the criticism against Pep?
The system, he turns players into robots. What else? He's a psycho sometimes if he loses.
No, not about his personality, but like
he's
his
bald.
success. No, he's successful, but what do they say?
The money. It's always the money.
He's always had the money. He's always had great teams. He's what Barcelona. He turned into a dominant side, but people say, well, you had Messi and you had Xavi and you had Busquets and you had Iniesta and you had whatever. Bayern Munich, I mean, come on. Anybody could win there, except for Thomas Tuchel. And then actually he did it well. So, even the bad manager, can win there. Man City, same thing. Yeah, they weren't successful until they got there, or unsuccessful, I guess they won before. But, it's always like, yeah, anybody can do it at those money clubs, when you have the financial advantages. But if you want to prove people wrong, League One, League Two, and he gets them to the top, that would prove everyone wrong. But you can't just go to a League One club because even if he was like, okay, I know you can't afford my usual wages, but they wouldn't take him because it'd be a circus. Like it'd be complete another sideshow. Every game would be like this kind of, oh my God, look, Pep's playing with, who's the League One club? Crawley Town. And like you'd have people lined up not to see the game, but just to see Pep. So if he gets relegated with City to the Championship or even League One, people will already know the City fans. I don't know, they're used to it. It won't be this kind of big thing, but he can still prove himself as a manager by getting City back to League One and the Premier League while also still getting paid the big money. So it's the best of both worlds.
It is, but I mean, is it that impressive? Say if 90% of the players leave because they're like, fuck that, I'm not spending any time in my career in League One or the Championship. If 90% of the squad leaves and he has like mostly academy players and maybe one or two stick with him that are loyal, like Kyle Walker, some would say, he'll fucking fly through the League One and the Championship. Like theirs are all still, like those academy players say, are fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, but in theory, this is all just literally a theory, is you wouldn't be able to pay the same wages. So like if you produced a Phil Foden or a Cole Palmer, they would go to Chelsea because you can't match the wages in League One because of financial fair play. Who would be watching like a hawk now, So he would actually have to like do it as a lower league manager with the constraints to an extent.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I think like
I don't know if they'd fly up. I think he'd do it over the course of 5 years, but he'd get them back, and then you really couldn't say anything.
Yeah, it would shut up a lot of people, but I mean, we talked about this last week. People who want to say stuff will find something to say to like negate your success. Don't be worrying about it. Don't be managing in League One, Pep. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it'd be interesting to see, but I don't get it. Why would you?
I know, but like it's your legacy. Like everyone always says that about Ferguson. It's like obviously there's the Man United years, but they always love to bring up and Dundee. Don't forget he won the European Cup at Dundee or whatever. It was the European Cup.
Yeah, it was with Aberdeen.
Sorry, fucking hell, Dundee. They bring up the Scottish team that isn't Celtic or Rangers, and you can't say anything because he did. It's like, well, yeah, fuck.
It is pretty good.
That's pretty inarguable. If you say, well, Pep won all those things with Barcelona City and Crawley Town, and Crawley Town,
that was pretty sweet.
He can't go to there because he's too big of a profile now. He would have done that start. But if he brought City back from League One with like players that wouldn't play in the Premier League. Like if it's Kyle Walker and Kyle Walker, based on his previous performances, that might be where he would end up if he kept playing. But I don't know. I think that's one theory, that Pep is happy to go down to League One so he can finally cement his legacy as the greatest manager of all time.
Yeah, but I think what the problem with that is, it sounds like in theory it would prove things and it'd be kind of like an amazing story to get them back up to the Premier League. But then it just dismisses that, like, well, why were they down in League One in the first place? It's because they were cheating the whole time he was there.
Yeah, but that doesn't do him.
Oh, for a lot of the players he signed, I'm sure came because of backhanded deals, Not that he was in charge of them, but he has to know. He has to know,
Yeah, I mean, he's a part of the club. I mean, it wasn't like he was like, I want Ruben Diaz, like, but Pep, we're going to break financial fair play.
Give me
I don't care. Like he's a Vince McMahon character, Just, I don't care. Give me Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz and John Stones. You want to pay 40 million for John Stones? I don't care. Get on me. Cover our tracks. Just do it. If that came out, then it would be smart to sign the contract because no other club would take him. If he came out as like the mastermind behind all this, it's like, oh my God, it was Pep the whole time.
Again, I think when you get to a certain point, you shouldn't be worrying about your legacy or what people are saying about you. You should know, like, you have the body of work kind of behind you. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, Pep. Relax.
Yeah, but have you heard his press conference this week? He's not a normal person.
Oh, that is true, yeah.
He's not us, sir. He's not here. He's a complete psycho,
Play the clip.
What should I change? What should I change?
Well, sometimes people react to losing.
If I should
games.
change in the first season and everyone asked to change, we will not win 7 Premier Leagues in 8 years. Impossible. Are you thinking we're going to ready to win the Premier League?
I won't be surprised.
No. You have to win one game. And after win the next one. And learn for this one to get better. This is the mindset that we have to have. This too shall pass. Life is like that. When you think it's perfect, you are wrong. It's going to rain tomorrow.
What the hell are you talking about, Pep?
He could be the mastermind behind it. He could be the evil guy behind all this. Well, are we making the mountain out of a molehill though? Are we overcomplicating this whole thing? Is it just that Rodri is the best player that's ever kicked the ball in history?
Every second that passes it looks more plausible. I think it's just a combo of things where, like, that Haaland, maybe his form has to dip at some point, and it just so happens to be now. And then it seems like, I don't know about you, but when I saw Timo Werner bursting by Kyle Walker, I thought, oh my God, the football has left him.
Well, Timo Werner has always had wheels.
Oh, yeah.
He's always been fast. What was questionable was his finishing. He just didn't seem to be able to make the right choice of finishing. But he was fast, and when he could pick out a pass, even with just one on one, it was like he's not going to score this, you know. And he's done it a few times this season and the end of last season, where it's just like I don't know what this guy's doing. You know, surely he's practicing and training every day, but he just so yeah. I'm not the speed is like that's always been there. He's only what 27.
Well, it was
Kyle
more that it
Walker's
was
34. So like,
well,
you
yeah,
know, that's
yeah. The age is one, but it was just he had a head start on Kyle Walker, but like Kyle Walker, just I think even a few months ago he would have caught him. Do you know what I mean? But just he didn't even come close.
no, he was beaten for pace, and it's just this is like the worst kept secret in football though. That Kyle Walker's not actually that good of a defender or a footballer. He's probably just one of the. I think, you know, if he had been in a different situation, someone would have coached him for the 2012 Olympics as a sprinter.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's a phenomenal athlete, and I think he could have done a lot of different sports he wanted to. As it was, he ended up playing for Tottenham, and you know, since that when that Young Player of the Year, and I think it was 2011, 2012. He's just like he can't be beaten in that you know defense situation. He lets people get behind him, and City play a high line. They control the ball, so like it's like what Jordi Alba used to do for Barcelona as well. Like he is that kind of archetypal player. Like we need someone like that who's just like an unbelievable athlete. And yeah, he's 34. Like it does go. He obviously keeps himself in great nick. What has been documented, he's had some personal issues this year, which you know it all affects it. It all affects it.
Distracts it. Yep.
Hard to keep it going. Hard to eat absolutely perfect every night. Hard to get 8 hours sleep when you got that in your mind. You know, so like it's just one of those things. The time catches up on us all, and yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily his fault. It's like, I mean, I think it's a system that they play. Obviously, every team has some kind of a system, and one or other. But like you see Arsenal now, Odegaard's back, and the system is all well again. You know, Saka or Rice in a different team wouldn't look so blunt. You know, wouldn't look so blunt. But when Odegaard's out there, it's like the whole thing fell apart, and that's coming from a Pep disciple. So like when Rodri's not there and you got Kovacic in there, you can't do the things that Rodri does. It exposes Kyle Walker, maybe exposes Haaland a bit. I know, but I think I described it as a house of cards, and I was like searching for an analogy the other week. Like, no, it's it. No, that might be pretty good. You know, it is kind of like it relies on all the links in the chain to be working. And yeah, I think with Rodri going off the season, I don't see how they're going to fix it, because like the players they bought over the years, like Nunez and who's your man from Leeds that they bought that was just didn't work out for them. It was really good for England.
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, like you know, this is what City always did well, that they had a player that was really good, and then they had two more like deputies that were like equally as good, or maybe slightly worse, but like you wouldn't even notice it because everybody else was so good. But those players that bought, you know, really haven't worked out at all. And then Gundogan back, and again, he's also 34 with a lot of miles to clock, a lot of injuries. I think it's just the system is around those key players, and when they're not there or not playing well, then it's just it starts to fall away very quickly. But I think that's the same for every team as well, though. To be fair, I don't think it's that big of a scandal that one player is cost them so much. I think it's just, you know, we haven't seen it happen with City. They've always been so prepared, always been so future proof, but it's just it's one of those years for them.
Yeah, and I saw today, I don't know if you saw this, Kevin De Bruyne gave an interview, very similar to another interview, which we'll probably talk about later, saying has he been asked about a new contract, or how's his new deal going? What's his plans for the future?
And can you see yourself staying at the club, or realistically, do you think this is going to be your last season at City?
I honestly don't know. Obviously, when I started the season, I know things would happen and talks would happen, but then I unfortunately had that thing against Brentford. So I've put basically everything to the side. I was hoping to be out for a couple of days, and it ended up being 8-9 weeks. So also for the moment, I rather still get better to that first and see how I am, and the rest will come. I'm not really too obsessed with things right now. I know people will ask me questions about this, but there's not a lot I can say. There's not been a lot of talks, so I'm fine. I'm happy. I just want to play good football again.
It's mad to see all these things happen at once, while also the trial looms over large. It really does feel like the end of an era, but it's weird because it goes from like week to week. Oh, they're actually fine. There'll be no charges. They're flying it. Swings back wildly to, oh no, it's over. It's all over.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, actually. And this also ties into something else to be talking about later on. But can you imagine, can you just imagine for a second, in 15 years' time, whatever iteration of TikTok there is, and they'll have like nostalgic memories of like the City period when they had all the best players and they played unbelievable stuff. It was actually an unbelievable time to watch football. Like, this was a sick team, crazy that it all just disappeared, but that's what it's going to be like. And they'll have unbelievable highlights, of course, and kids who really didn't watch it, like, whoa, that must have been sick when City were playing. It's like, no, it really wasn't. We all. In fact, they were so good they turned everyone against each other. They were too good to even join up in hatred against them. There was divide and conquer. Everyone turned on each other and was just laughing at each other for not beating them. It was really the most toxic time in the history. But yeah, I was thinking that it'll be the same with anything. It'll be like nostalgified and like, oh look, Phil Foden, what a player, We all hated Phil Foden. We all called him assistant player at the time.
He was the assistant player. That's you commenting. Shut up, old man.
But yeah, I mean, we've talked about City and their issues, but what was Spurs, Will?
It's hard to judge because it feels like, again, wild swings week to week, but that's kind of always been the case with Spurs. But now it feels like the swings are... There's more positive. The positive swings are higher. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder why nobody has looked or studied how Spurs keep beating City, or how Man United under certain managers used to beat City. I feel like it can be done almost. I don't want to say easily, but repeatedly in the same way. It's teams with like really fast attacking players who run directly. Like Kulusevski and Madsen, not every team in the league has players that. I accept that, but like, some people just try and park the bus, and like that just doesn't work. You got to go at them.
Over the last few years, I have seen Man United easily beat Man City so many times where I thought they had no chance because they did that. They just countered and ran right at them. And I've also seen them literally in the same seasons a few weeks later try park the bus and just get hammered 5-0. It's bizarre to watch. Like, it feels like teams just forget, or they, like you said, they just ignore the Spurs game. They're like, yeah, but that was just Spurs. What about us?
Yeah, you could insert the Gary Neville. It was a freak.
Exactly.
It was a freak result. I think it's because you watch City dismantle a team parking the bus. And that usually works. It's like, oh my God, these guys are unbelievable. There's nothing we can do. And then when someone just runs at them and attacks and catches them on the counter attack, someone that you look and go, well, they're a worse side. So I have no idea how they beat City. It must have just been one of those crazy things that happens with no explanation, because as we all know, things happen for no reason all the time. But like that's the thing, is it's like you look at it and you go, okay, it looks like it's like counterattacking and direct running directly at them. No, that doesn't seem right. No, that seems dangerous, actually. I think I might lose my job if I did that. I think I might win 10-0 if I did that. So I'm not going to do that. But over and over again, it seems to be more successful than the parking the bus, than just like kind of curling up in the fetal position and waiting for them to punch themselves out. Like they're not going to tire.
You see that every time. Like, if you park the bus against them, like, now, if you're like an Everton or something, I get why you're just like, look, just hang on, hope for the best. But like you said, if you're a Spurs and you go at them, if you don't go at them, they're just going to pass it sideways until you're wrecked. Like, you're not going to be able to do that for 90 minutes.
Well, that was the thing as well, because with Spurs, that they're turning up at halftime. Anyone else would have said, this is unbelievable, let's park the bus. But they're like, let's score 2 more. because, you know,
When it works, it works.
like even say Everton there, for example, I can tell you, I can see it now. I can see Dwight McNeil and Calvert-Lewin. I could see them just like run at them, and they have no answer. Like you'd be surprised. Like there's good players in every team, but like they look at it and they go, well, we can't do that. That's crazy. It'll never work. We can't just kick the ball past them and run at them. And also, City aren't expecting it. I think halftime as well. Maybe that's part of it.
I think that is what it is a lot of the time. I feel like City do go into some games underestimating opponents because it's rare you see them like get hammered in a big game, like against when they were like challenging for the title against Liverpool. I don't think that really happened too much. They were always close back and forth games, but they would, like I said, lose 2-0 to Ollie's Man United regularly because it felt like coming into the game they're like, yeah, but they're not going to be able to score against this lad, so don't worry about it.
But yeah, I think ever since I said Tottenham don't play the same way everyone else does, and they're terrible, they're creeped up the table. They're back. So I mean, fair play to them, and they have really good players. It's just, and they're missing the guy who the Rodrigo Bentancur.
Yeah,
his ban is finally.
We were first on that story.
I think a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Will I think they heard about it?
Not us.
Yeah, if everybody didn't hear, he was on international duty, wasn't with Uruguay?
Yes,
and reporter asked him, "What the why did he say that thing? Will, what did the reporter ask him that he said that awful thing?"
The reporter asked him for one of his Spurs mates' jerseys, I think, for his kid or something like that. And without prompt, Bentancur said, maybe sons. And then he said, but you wouldn't know whose because they all look alike. And then they both laughed.
He said maybe Son's brother, but you wouldn't know because they look alike.
Yeah, but we said at the time, that makes no sense because Son's brother doesn't play for Spurs.
Yeah. And then, well, let's just do the bit again, shall we? So then I said, maybe he thought like Son's name in the back of the Spurs jersey. That's not the real Son, that's Son's brother.
Yeah.
They look alike. And then he said, and he added, because they're Asian, just to clarify the race.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
He's banned for like 6 games for that.
Yeah, I saw, I don't know what paper it was. I think it was like the Mail or something saying like, other Premier League teams are in shock at the length of the ban for Bentancur's after Stephen. I said, really? What do you think was going to happen? You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, well, I guess it's like we haven't had a race issue in a long time, it feels like.
I think Cavani was the last one. Do you remember that?
And I think they kind of put that down to, well, look, you didn't mean it, you know. And it was, you know what it is? Some of them are like the Evan Ferguson penalty against England, and then some like the Smollett ones. Some were easy to call, and they get them wrong. Like the Suarez one, you know, that was like that should have been 6-game ban, and they messed that one up. Then you got the Cavani one. It's like, well, that's it's okay. I know he's Uruguay as well, but he's a teammate, so it's not really. Did he clip him? Did he get So this one was like so obvious. So well, this is the first home run. Cut and dry case we've had in a long time. I guess we said we would do it the next time it happened, 6-game ban. But also, I think it's because the team is, it has that kind of shocking element. Well, I'm assuming they're friends. It's a pretty weird place to Eric Reeves as a teammate. But look, point is, well, that Tottenham are better without that racist bastard in the team.
Yeah, it's true.
They went on. And they missed their 2 centre-backs too, Romero and Mickey Van de Ven. So I think it's just the style of play is how you beat City. Running at them really fast with good players. I mean, Madsen had a great game too. We should say that. He looked like he was a man on a mission there. Another player who didn't play for England the last time we played them. So that's that's the strength of depth that England have. Well, it's like Madsen can't get a sniff.
Yep, I'm sure he'll be in it next time. Probably next time they play Ireland. Maybe that's when he'll get his next goal.
Yeah, he'll be back with a point to prove. That'd be great.
Yeah, good stuff.
But yeah, Tottenham, I think they're like 5th now, Tottenham are. It's too early to tell where they finish this year, Will. But they're doing well.
Yeah, it felt like, I don't know if you got this feeling, but maybe it was just because there was so much extra stuff going on. But it felt like after about 13 game weeks, 12 game weeks, the Premier League has officially begun now. It was like, okay, here we go. Stuff is happening. Results are mattering.
Good time for Man United to have new manager, Will, just as it's really heating up. Let's see if we can get a good manager in here for Man United.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, I mean, it wasn't too shocking that this crop of Man United players didn't manage to get a win in their first game under an entirely new system that they'd never played before. I think anyone could have predicted that. But what was probably the worst of it was the minute of false hope at the start of the game for all the United fans, where I don't know about you, but I saw that and I thought, oh my God, it's happening. This is the guy. I knew it finally.
You and Peter Drury.
Yeah, play the clip. Honestly, that took me out of the moment, if anything.
It's Ahmad. It's Rashford. It is utopian. A launch of the most staggering type. Trumped beyond his wildest dreams.
I don't know if that's just his way, or is it just that, like, it's been 10 years now since they've been bad.
Yeah.
It's a nice arc, you know. It's time to arc out of this bad period, and Amorim does kind of feel like, you know, young manager. I mean, in the mold of like an Arteta, or even, you know, Pep when he took over. So no, he was already successful on a bigger stage, but you know, it's like, yeah, this is kind of like the guy that would take you out of a bad period. I think people really want to will it to happen now. You know, I think they've this is enough of the bad years. You know, the people not even necessarily Man United fans. I think they're just like, this is a good 10-year spell now. This is going to make it really sweet when they win again. But definitely this year they should get back. And next year they should win it.
Yeah.
You know, and the way Peter Drury was going on there, I like to say against Ipswich. You know, it's like it's a bit early for that kind of talk. You know, It's not like-
Utopia.
that was the first thing he said. Utopia. What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, it was literally, that was a good goal, but it was like a kind of cut. Maybe it was just because Man United scored a cutback and he couldn't believe his eyes.
It's going to be a while, I think, Will. I don't think it's. I think this exercise for Man United is going to be less Amorim decide which players he's going to get rid of and which areas he needs to improve on. That's really all you can hope for. I don't think you can hope for a turnaround because I mean, there's some stopgaps there like Johnny Evans and all that who you know, nobody, even Ten Hag, didn't think he's going to be there for the next 5 years or anything. I mean, it's just like there's kind of areas of the team that need improving. And I think it's just going to be the rest of the season. He's going to try and assess that, try and finish in maybe. Well, I don't know. Do you want Conference League or Europa League? Is that like a curse or anything?
I don't know. Like, they're in the Europa League now. I think, look, if they make a good goal in the Europa League, if they could somehow manage to win it, because then you get Champions League football, that's all that matters, really. But yeah, I don't know. For next season, it's tough to tell anymore. Because, like, we just had 2 seasons of winning trophies, and it didn't plug the hole in any Man United fan's soul. Do you know what I mean? It didn't do it.
No, because the bar's too high. The bar
Yeah.
is competing and winning most years for the title, and then you know a couple of years where it's like, I think we could win the Champions League. That's the kind of bar. So you're a long way from that. You're not like it, but that is where you want to be at. You can win as many FA Cups. You can, you know, qualify for the Champions League with ease in third and fourth. You know, well clear of Aston Villa or West Ham, wherever is doing well a year. It's not going to feel anything like good enough because it's too soon. Like I said, 10 years. Give it another 10 years, and then the FA Cup will be very sweet. But
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's still too soon. That the league was almost kind of a formality, and like we're looking at like, why can't Man United win the league this year? Same as City is now. Would you write City off? Would you bet someone €100 they're not going to win?
Never, ever, ever. I mean, I think Arsenal were 8 points clear last season, like Liverpool are now.
I think they went 1 win for 6 this time last year. So you did. I mean, and that's it. Like that's where City are at, and that's where Man United used to be at. Where it's like, well, I'm not going to write them off, even if they have lost 3 games in the league in a row. I don't care. I'm not going to write them off. So that's where Bruno Amorim, and honestly, it probably won't be him to get them back to that point.
I mean, I will say during the Ipswich game, I think it was nice, and I get why they brought in a manager like this to see, like, at least I could see what the team is trying to do. I know the system. He's told me about the system. The players are playing in the place they're supposed to. It's not working because they can't do it yet, but they might learn. But whereas under Ten Hag, like every game was just chaos. There was just holes in the middle of the pitch, and you knew it was never going to end up doing anything because it's like, well, he hasn't even figured this part of it out. Whereas like at least this is like, okay, we're at least in phase 1 and you can see what phase 1 is. I think Amorim even said it before the game in one of his many interviews. He was asked the same question as Ten Hag was asked. You know, Ten Hag was asked, when can we see these players play like Ajax? And we commended him for his answer of being like, never, because you're just going to throw that back at me when it doesn't happen, basically. Whereas Amorim took a different approach and he said, from day 1, we're going to try and play that way. Because at least even if we do badly, the players will know I believed it enough to be doing it from day 1 and they'll buy into it more. Which is probably a better answer than what Ten Hag said.
Well, what Ten Hag said is one thing. What he did is another thing. We saw it the first 2 games against Brentford and whoever. And they went, all right, forget this. Let's just try and get some results here. You know, let's find some star boys, get some results, and I'll keep on making my money. He gave up on it like immediately. It's like, oh, well, this isn't going to work. This isn't easy at all, you know? So we'll see. We'll see if Amorim does this for, you know, the first 5 games, wins none of them, and he goes, fuck it, you know?
I don't really care about the 3-5-2 or whatever that much.
Yeah, I'm not married to it, you know?
That would be very funny. His whole thing.
Well, it's like well, I guess if you give Ten Hag the benefit of the doubt, he was like, okay, it's not working now. If I persist this, I will be gone in 6 months.
Yeah.
They will sack me. But if I steady the ship and then I get in players, then maybe we can go back that someday. But I just need to create a base camp here that I can build from. Now, he was a bit older than Amorim, and maybe thought this is the big job. This is the biggest job I'll ever get. So let's not mess it up in the first 6 months by being married to a system that I, you know, had success with before. But I didn't invent the system, for Christ's sake. You know, it's just going to work for me. Whereas Amorim might be a bit more young and like, no, I can do it my way. You know, so it might have a bit more persistence with it. And if it doesn't work out, he goes, yeah, well, you know, I still have time. Whereas I think we discussed as well, and where Ten Hag goes after this, like, well, not many places probably. You know, he'd have to do another really good job somewhere else before he gets that. And as we mentioned, his age, yeah. So look, it's a lot of maybe so far, but yeah, he was talking about the amount of injuries he had to do. He probably underestimated how much injuries he would have to do. And I think he said, yeah, this league is different. I think it's mainly being at Man United more so than the Premier League. But I know there is a lot of, you know, they all have to come out after games and talk to the press, do press conferences. So,
learn as Manchester United manager is the number of media commitments that you have after a game. So we're going to let you go. So thank you very much for coming over to talk to us.
I want to say this is the last time this week I spoke more than 4 years in Sporting, and then when you speak too much and you don't win, it's really hard for everybody. So it was 1 week, and only 1 week I spoke with Andrew. I just want to work with my players, nothing more. But I understand this is a different game here. So let's see.
Thanks for coming out to talk.
Thank
you. When it's put to him, and he's like, oh my God, like it's too much. The second he said it, I thought, fuck, it's over. It's over already. This is what's going to do him in. We have 2.5 years, 3 years. Eventually, he's just going to start saying the wrong things to the media. And that's it. Game over. We've seen it time and time again. But I never even thought of it like how cursed the Man United job is until he said that. It's like, yeah, it's going to be very difficult for any manager to actually do well here because you get built up so high. It's nonstop press, nonstop media, and like he said there, you say so much things that eventually you're going to say something where when you don't win, it gets thrown back at you, and it's just like I don't know how anyone's going to turn it around. We need, I don't know, like a Bielsa or something, someone who is just like, can't talk, not going to talk to you. I'd speak to the translator.
Yeah, I think that's the Joe Rogan defense, isn't it? Listen, man, I talk a lot. I'm an idiot. I say a lot of shit, dude. I say a lot of racist stuff, man.
Yeah. I support a lot of politicians. It's just fun.
I blast a lot of ends. I can't remember all of them. I can't delete all of them in time. So yeah, I don't know. It's what's the cup one? Heavy metal football that still gets used, which he thought that'd be a sick analogy. Arsenal are like an orchestra and we're heavy metal. He's like, yeah, that is sick. And then fucking the nerds in the media are like, when you say heavy metal, like in terms of like the history of heavy metal, it was a fucking stupid thing I said. Just let it go. Stop bringing it up.
I remember for a while, it's funny, it's a mad to think back on it now. I remember for a while, Klopp's criticism was like, you can never get it over the line, always loses the final, always lost like the Europa League final and stuff. And it was definitely put to him like, should you move away from the heavy metal football? I'm sure he was like, shut up about it. It's not a real thing.
I don't have, it's not called heavy metal football. I don't play a style of football I've invented called heavy metal football. It's just pressing,
Klopp, should you move to more of an easy listening style?
Yeah, just people just little takes stuff like that. Like, we'll play it later on, I guess, as well. The Salah clip is kind of similar to that, where like the reporter reads and listening to what he's saying, even. It's just a lot of it. A lot of it is that, but during one of his many compulsory media engagements after the game, he was gate crashed, Will, and as I read in the headline, visibly shaken when visibly shaken when Ed Sheeran came in and just decided that that he was going to talk to his good mate Jamie Redknapp. I don't think you can replay the clip. It's more a visual clip more than an audio clip. But basically, he's talking, and then Ed Sheeran comes in, just like in the middle of it, and said, "Oh, well, Jamie Redknapp, how are you?" I guarantee Jamie Redknapp has been backstage at 3 different Ed Sheeran concerts. Right? I think that's something that he would try to do, and he would like put in a word. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I'm sure Ed Sheeran's a very nice guy, and they seem to be very good friends, Will. But yeah, in the middle of it, he just starts hugging and talking to Jim Redknapp while he's live on air.
It's not like he comes in during a lull. Ruben Amorim is in the middle of talking about why it's going to take so long to turn this Man United team around. And then the Sky presenter's like, oh, one sec there, Ruben. Ed Sheeran's here with us. And the camera does literally like something out of The Office, the way it like crash zooms out and pans over while Ruben's talking.
Yeah, because usually they're on a stand, the cameras, but this would seem to be a handheld camera where the guy like looks over.
Holy shit, Ed Sheeran's here.
The first Ruben Amorim does like the stare at the camera, almost like what's happening, and then it cuts to little Ed Sheeran embracing Jim Redknapp's waist. And then he's like, oh, I think Kathy Kaye's like, oh, Ed Sheeran is here. Like basically saying to the producer, what's happening? Let me know what's happening. Why is he here? And he's like, oh, I love being back in the Premier League. I love it. He doesn't want to talk to me. And then everyone's like, no. What? No, I don't. What's happening? And then it's so awkward that Jamie Redknapp has to go, listen, mate, maybe we'll say hello later on. Oh, it's insane.
I mean, it sums up everything Amorim's talking about. So it's right after that clip is when Amorim says, this is the last one. I'm not doing this anymore. I just want to manage the players. He said he's done more interviews in the last week than 4 years at Sporting. But it's just an amazing. It sums it all up. What like the culture shock of going from just managing a football team in Portugal. Everyone loves you. It's all about getting results. And then you come over here, and while you're again on your mandatory interview explaining what just went wrong in your first game, like superstar Ed Sheeran interrupts and is basically laughing at you.
He's so unbothered by the whole the stakes. Ed Sheeran could not care less of how like this is so important to so many people, you know. Well, I mean, he's so important to so many people, so it doesn't really seem important to him. I don't know what goes on in his head. You know, I don't know how he deals with the fame, but this is obviously how he does it. He just everything is very, you know, we're all going to die anyways. Kind of attitude is what I get from Ed Sheeran, you know, but in a positive way, not in a kind of a negative way. But I wish there's one more camera angle of the people, like say the producer of Sky, Ed Sheeran's media guy, handler, agent, you know, Bruno Amorim's assistant or whatever, the United media person, just all like, what's like all they look at each other. Whose fault is this? What's going on?
Ed Sheeran had up on his story after, or he had it up on his Instagram story today, because obviously getting slammed by, I'd say, billions of furious Man United fans on the internet. And he said, I didn't know it was an interview going on. Didn't mean to be disrespectful. I feel like a dick, blah, blah, blah. What did he think was going on? What did he think was happening?
Well, this is what I mean. I think he knew exactly what's going on. I don't think he put that up at all. I think that was his media person. Yeah. He said, right, I better put this up because, you know, well, I'm sure they said, listen, Ed, a lot of people are mad at you. I'm reading the DMs here. He said, don't read it, man. Don't read the messages. You know, don't read the hate. Just, I turn that shit off.
Still need him to buy the tickets, Ed.
Nah. All right, I'll do it myself.
Because it's funny, like, even I don't really have any opinion on Ed Sheeran. I don't like listen to his music that much, but like I don't hate him or anything. But after seeing that clip, now I'm like, Ed Sheeran's a dickhead.
I think he's living his own world. Real, I think I like him more, you know, because it's just so blissfully unaware, you know, or blissfully just like not caring. And in a way, well, he is right. It doesn't really matter.
He's bang on. He like, and he's on again. The match is over. There's no one in the stadium except Ed Sheeran, and these people are standing on the pitch discussing what just happened in this 1-1 draw against Ipswich. Who cares? Turn it on. Talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah. I do like the idea of Ed Sheeran thinking that it wasn't live, that it's scripted somehow. That this is just like
they'll cut this out. Yeah.
This is rehearsal for after everyone's gone home. Sure, this is just like rehearsed or something. I'm not sure how this works. Big football fan though. I love it. Love being back in the Premier League.
Well, it's probably so long since someone said no to him that it's just like it doesn't even enter his brain anymore. It's like, I'll go say hi to Jamie.
But it's exactly like the McGregor thing a few weeks ago where he just walked right in and no one stopped him. It's like, well, he must be somebody's guest. Someone must have said this.
Well, he is a part owner, I think.
Oh yeah, but like I mean, like the Sky, like the people filming the Arsenal ads as well. So whoever like was directing that bit of content, you know, we're like, did we book McGregor for this?
Yeah. This could do well on socials. Don't stop him just yet.
Was there a segment with Ed Sheeran? Was that for today? And by that time, he's already embracing Jamie Redknapp.
Jamie Redknapp's already telling him to fuck off.
Listen, mate, maybe we'll say hello later on.
Trying to work here, Ed. We're not all superstars like you.
That is the funniest bit where like, oh my God, I love that so much. Where it's like, hey, maybe we'll say hello later on, buddy. Yeah, all right, man. See you later on. Oh God. Funny stuff. And as you mentioned there, Kevin De Bruyne, I'm not sure what's contract. Neither is Mohamed Salah. But that's been going on for a while, Will.
Yeah, it's been brewing for the last few months. And I've seen his agent, I think it is, that was tweeting some, you know, not suspicious things, but just like, oh, somebody needs to be shown more respect or someone might leave. But to see this clip, it's just so rare you see a player do this, like so kind of blatantly being like, no, they're kind of, he's putting the pressure on them to give him a good deal. We'll play the clip here.
There's a lot of talk about your future. What's the latest you can tell us on that?
Well, we're almost in December. I haven't received any offer to stay yet in the club, so probably I'm more out than in. So,
would you like to stay though?
Well, you know, I've been in the club for many years. No club like this, but in the end, it's not in my hands. So as I said before, it's December, so I haven't received anything yet about my future. So
it feels like the fans would love you to stay, though, given the reaction today.
I love the fans. The fans love me, but in the end, it's not in my hand, it's the fans' hand. So yeah,
no,
let's wait and see.
How do you feel about the fact there hasn't been an offer? Then does that disappoint you?
Of course, yeah.
And so what? Have you spoken to the club about why there hasn't been an offer?
Well, I'm not gonna go and say I'm not gonna retire soon. So I'm just I'm focused in the season, and I'm trying to win the Premier League or hopefully the Champions League as well. But yeah, it's a disappointed, but we'll see.
Do you believe that no contract has been offered to him, but he hasn't talked to anyone? Or have Liverpool just not offered him a contract because he's already said in no uncertain terms, give me 500 grand or I'm leaving?
Yeah. Well, they've done this a few times, and it's worked out a lot of the time. I mean, Henderson obviously is an example. The Saudi Arabia thing didn't work out, but then Ajax, I don't think is he still Ajax? I'm not sure,
so, yeah.
but I haven't seen him, ripping up in the Champions League recently. Wijnaldum at the time, I was like, that's crazy. He's only 30. Don't let him walk out the door free. But it didn't actually seem to matter because his best years were definitely at Liverpool. So that worked out. Salah seems like a kind of a level above those players, though. I feel like letting Salah walk out just because he's over 30 doesn't feel like, good business.
No, I think, and I get that if Liverpool are worried that, because players do, we see it with Kyle Walker, players can just drop off a cliff at no reason. It's just age happens. Well, and that's it.
We had some reasons with Kyle Walker. We didn't talk about some of the reasons.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Or it could just happen overnight where okay, I don't think he's what he was. I mean, Ronaldo at United as well. For a while in that first season he was back, he looked pretty fucking good. And then the second season he was a shadow of himself. And I think he's still kind of been like that for a while. Whereas I don't know, it's still probably worth the 2 years you might get out of him though. I mean, it'll be tough to replace whatever it is, 20 goals and 20 assists, minimum nearly a season.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's there's their model though, and it's been successful for them. And I mean, the players you mentioned there, I think are a slightly different case. I think a better example would be Aubameyang, who, I mean, I can find the tweets if you want, Will. I can post them. Give him anything he wants. That's what keep people, the dumbest Arsenal fans there were, the dumbest of the dumb. Give him anything he wants. Which is just you don't, that honestly is a you don't know ball moment, because this happens all the time. There's someone who's it's a contract year for him. He's running out of contract. He's playing unbelievable stuff. He looks like he's never going to die. But you see it happen. 31 years of age, secure one big paycheck. All right, that's me done.
Even subconsciously.
Even subconsciously, because you're thinking, well, I mean, even if I play unbelievable, I'll be 35, and then it's really done. There's no more contracts after this, so what's the point? So. Yeah, look, maybe it's Arne Slot, Will. Maybe he's don't give him the contract yet. Maybe, what's the perfect time for Arne Slot to give him the contract for him to potentially stop scoring goals?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you want it right up to the end. It's this last month of this season to save the season, and Salah's staying on. That's when you need it, I think. You need the boost from signing the contract, not a slow taper off from him signing it tomorrow.
It's what's the danger if you don't sign him up in time? If someone else comes in and offers him a pre-contract?
I'm assuming they're thinking it's getting him off the books is the whole point in the first place. I don't think they're going to care if, oh no, someone's taking him in the summer. That. No one's going to buy him outright in January. They'll just say no.
So if you're Salah, right, it's December now, kind of. You don't get the contract. January comes, nobody buys you, still no contract. You're 5 points clear at the top. You're thinking, I can't play any better.
Yeah.
We're at the top of the league. You know, but you keep playing. If you sign up in February, you could lose the league in February. It'd be unlikely. But I mean, if you're Arne Slot, maybe that's when you sign up for one more year. So give him the contract, give him one more year. But like I said, the danger is Real Madrid come in and say, listen, we can't sign in January, but coming free, and you'll replace Mbappe on the left. Or not Mbappe, I guess. He'd be on the other side. He'd be on Rodrigo's side. That could actually work. You know? And then he goes, you know what, Liverpool, I'm going to Real Madrid, so you can save your one-year contract. Good luck.
Fuck you. I don't care about winning the league here anymore. I don't want to get injured.
Yeah, and now I've got something to look forward to. I've got to be paid out for the next 2 years. So that's the danger, I guess. You know, he signs for somewhere else, stops scoring goals. You lose both things. But it could just be that they're happy to see him go and get him off the books and say, look, we'll replace him like we replace everyone else.
That's the thing. It's sometimes you see these big, like, talismanic players, like all-time great players. When they do leave, it's very rare someone's like, that's a good idea, good move there. It's nearly always like, how the hell are you ever going to recover? And I think actually more often than not, it usually does work out for the best. I mean, you saw United loads with Beckham and even Van Nistelrooy and players like that. Like, it just, sometimes it's good to keep things fresh, keep it going. Don't get to a point where all of your fans and the club are like, well, we can't lose Salah. If we lose him, we're fucked. That's not a great image to be projected onto the club, I think.
Yeah, but then at the same stage, you have Alexander-Arnold in the same boat, and possibly Van Dijk as well. So it could be more than just losing one. It could be three players, three of your greatest players of this team walking out at the same time, and Robertson as well. Looks like he might be at the end of his rope as well. So
for no money as well, if their contracts are all winding down, these are probably players you could cash in on before you got rid of them. I mean, especially Trent at his age, if you could keep him for a bit, and if he really needs to go or wants to go, it probably would make more sense to get money for him. You'd get a lot. But yeah, losing them all to free, I think would be, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like great business, just financially. But I don't know. It's tough to tell. That Salah interview, though, the way he talks about, like, no one's talking to me, I'm trying to talk to them, and they're not replying. When he says it like that, even though that's probably just a ploy to get a better offer, or, you know, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. But when he says it, comes out and says it, it does kind of imply like, and Van Dijk and Trent, no one's talking to them either. They'd probably want to stay too, but it's not happening. So I don't know. I saw Carragher literally just before we started recording there. M&F is on, and Carragher was talking about it, and he said Salah's being selfish because what's important right now is not Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk. It's winning the league. But he had an interesting stat, kind of a stat. Mo Salah has only stopped to speak in that area, like after a game, 3 times since he's at Liverpool. It's like a thing reporters always say, like, well, don't even bother trying to get a quote from Salah. One of the times, I'd say it was near the start of his time at Liverpool. The second time was, remember, last season after he argued with Klopp, and he said, if I speak, there'll be fire. And this is the third time. So, like, he picks and chooses his moments. Like, the fact it's just randomly after he scored a penalty, I think and another goal in that game to beat them, like, in a comeback, and then he just happens to stop to talk to the press and says, yeah, I'd love to stay, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because and maybe this is a bit harsh to say this, but like the people asking questions, they weren't like the most thought of questions.
No, they're shocked. They're literally shocked. He's A, speaking to him, and B, saying the things he's saying.
And then one person, he goes, yeah, I mean, I'm not being offered a contract. I'd like to stay, but I'm not getting one. So what can you do? And someone goes, what about the fans? They want you to stay. What about the fans? You know,
what about me, Salah?
And then he's like, well, as I just said, not in my hands. So I don't, you know, I'm trying to say something here without saying it, pal. Listen to me, okay? Listen to the words I'm saying. Is the Saudi Arabia thing still a realistic option, you think?
I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of been forced on Salah by the media and people being like, yeah, that makes sense. He would do that. But I don't think he's ever said he wants to do that. Do you know what I mean? I think we've seen a lot of players go over to Saudi Arabia now and it didn't work, or some people haven't been paid, or some people are already back in Europe, or they're in Turkey now or something. So I don't know. It's tough. maybe if it was a few years ago when it was fresh and new and the money was big, but now it's like it is kind of the end of a lot of careers.
Yeah, it is what we all thought it might be, where it's like this is same retirement to the end, you know. As big a star as Ronaldo was, he couldn't bring it up. But same the MLS, you know, it's hard to say this is the league, you know, this is the one that's going to be the challenger to the usual stuff, you know. But yeah, well, look, it looks like they're going to win the league, so that's good.
That is good. But I tell you, you know what you should do, Salah? If it's true that they're not talking to you and you want to talk to them and they're actually pissing you off and not replying, you should throw the league. Fuck them. You don't owe these people anything.
Well, maybe not throw the league. Maybe jump leagues, real. Maybe join the Ballers League.
Yeah, that's true. That's where the real money is. I tell you, these Twitch streamers and YouTubers, they make more money than footballers, a lot of them, I'd say.
Yeah, I hate this so much, really. I have to say.
I thought you would.
Because it's everything that I don't like about modern world and media and football as well. It's got nostalgia in there for nostalgia's sake. You know, Figo's in there, fine. I mean, like, let's talk about it first, I guess. Let's set the scene. What is the Ballers League?
So, this video came out about an hour ago, or probably 2 hours ago now. It's a very well put together, like well made football ad. One of our favorite things, the football ad with cameos, but it's a very lazily done one, as we were talking about before we started recording. Number one, in an airport. Done to that, lads. Even we suggested the airport for our ad. So it's like, you're not breaking new ground here.
They ripped off the whole airport setting, honestly.
Yes.
They ripped off the entire bit of the Brazil in like 98 ad with Ronaldo, Rivaldo, AC Zago, all the greats in the airport playing against the security, keeping the ball off the security. They do that exact thing.
Yes. But with a new twist. Yeah.
Yeah. With not current players, current YouTubers and old players, because, you know, God knows that current players are not as good as the old ones. And YouTubers will last forever.
So yeah, like the ad starts, it's the sidemen. They're saying like, "What the hell's the Ballers League?" and all this, and it's every YouTuber you can think of is in it. All the Beta Squad boys, Angry Ginge, and then like I said, all these old footballers: Ronaldinho, Figo, Shearer, Lineker, and Mika Richards.
That's my least favorite part.
As a triple act.
That's it. Like Lineker, Shearer, and Mika Richards have been relegated to like this triple act. But then of course it's so fucking internet humor. Do you know what I mean? It's just so Lineker, Shearer, and Mika Richards are hanging out together like they always have and always will in the airport. And they start jostling for the ball, and then Big Meeks pushes apart the two players, heads the ball, rips his pants, and then there's like way too long of Lineker and Shearer laughing because, you know, the podcast they do that everyone's going to remember.
They're just fun lads.
That they always laugh on the podcast, and they go, "That's what I call bursting on the seam," because he bursts the seams with his pants. Or
yeah,
I hate that so much. I hate that. I really do.
Look, I'm sure there's good money in the Baller League. I'm sure these lads, it's going to be great for their social media profile and stuff like that. But I don't know. That especially is like, God, like, you lads have, like, Shearer has a statue outside Newcastle's ground. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't be fucking comedic folly in a YouTube, like in a KSI video, essentially.
He's such a Disney kid. Isn't he?
Oh yeah.
No, he's the worst. He's so broad, you know. Anyways,
and then John Terry appears at the end. They do one kind of clever callback, but it's kind of late. You don't even know if it's callback because there's no other callbacks. Where John Terry rips off his clothes to reveal he's been wearing a full kit the whole time, which is like, it's kind of funny. But again, if you just do the one, then it's not a callback. It's just something that happened in the video.
Well, it's really an exercise in John Terry being like, "Look, everyone, I can laugh at myself."
Yeah, I'm a bit of fun. remember, don't forget about all the things I said and did.
This is also, I guess, a reference to the Brazil ad where he kicks the ball and hits off the post, exactly like Ronaldo did. Which also maybe is like him hitting the post in the Champions League final, maybe. I don't know if that's part of this. But it's literally the exact same ending as the previous Nike ad. I wouldn't be surprised if Nike said, "This is our ad."
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think they got permission here. No way.
It's too similar. But but that's what I mean. Like they had it. We could do an airport like that ad before. As a jumping off point, they said that, and then just did that, and then they go, "How do we end it?" And how the last ad ends. I think Ronaldo kicked off a post and ended for somehow, which is the worst part of that ad, by the way. No, just do that. And it's just, you can just tell it's people who work there who had to get it done by Friday, and they did. And it's like, right, done. That's the idea. Film it. Done.
Yes. So that's how they unveiled the Ballers League. Well, a video that left more questions than answers, I'd say. But Sport Bible have very helpfully put together a little piece on what is the Baller League. Would you like to know, Kyle?
No, I don't. I just want to say one more thing. Do you know what it is about football ads, old football ads, right? If you didn't know anything about football and you watched that ad from, I think it was 96, where Zidane, Figo, and Frank Rijkaard. No, not Frank Rijkaard. His son plays for Bournemouth. What's his name? The Dutch guy. Patrick Kluivert. 3 of them are there. They're in the back of a truck. They put balls down in the middle of Amsterdam Square and they film people kicking the balls. And it's actual people kicking this. And they film some people stealing the balls. And it's like, oh, cool. It's the players from the thing that I watch, right? And you and I will see them and we go, oh, that's those players because we like football. We know football. If you had a famous actor of the time from 1996, there's a good chance I have no idea who it is because I'm not an acting person. I'm a football person and I know the footballers. And that'll last as time goes on and go, oh, that's Zidane. He was a manager of Real Madrid. He won the World Cup in 98. But the actor, it's like, no, you can't cross them over because it doesn't last. Whatever about KSI, maybe he'll last, because he's one of the biggest ones. But like the other guy in the side bin who it cuts to for some reason, like in 15 years, no one's going to fucking know who that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's funny. At the end of the ad, it ends with I Show Speed walking onto a plane and Ronaldinho's there. But like you said, what crossover is there between I Show Speed fans and, say, Figo? Like, when did Figo retire?
Yeah, it's kind of like The Simpsons where like some of the jokes for the adults and some of the stuff is just bright colors for the kids. You know what I mean? It's like, who's this ad for?
Yes.
The Simpsons is for everyone because we all watch it as a family and it's a bit for everyone. This is like, there's no need to have all stuff. It's just nostalgia. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, if only we had him here today. It's that kind of bullshit. Do you know what I mean? It hits all the things that I hate. The actor crossover, like the social media crossovers, like Angry James being so prominent in it. That's the second one of these ads he's put in.
It's 2 in a year for Ginge.
And like, what was he doing? He was cursed and swearing the ad because that's what he does in his stream.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate this. I hate this. You know what I mean?
Maybe you'll, actually, I was going to say, maybe you'll enjoy it more to hear how it works, but you were going to hate this, Kyle.
Go on.
So, the Baller League, what the hell is it? The 6-a-side project set up by, you're never going to guess this, Kyle, Mats Hummels and Lucas Podolski has been a huge success in Germany, and now it's confirmed the league is branching out into the UK and US in March 2025. Would you like to hear how it works?
I'm going to say, well, I like it so far. And I feel like maybe it's been corrupted by the money in football in the UK. And somehow KSI's got his paws on it. But I mean, tell me more.
Okay, so the basic concept of the league, like we said, it's 6-a-side. There's rules to like make it as exciting and different as they can. It's kind of like the XFL in a bit. The league sees 12 teams compete in a weekly league in an indoor arena. So there's 12 teams in the US, 12 teams in the UK. Games are 15-minute halves and there are 11 match days in total. And then it works out into a Final Four tournament to crown the champions in May. 6-a-side on a small pitch, but there are some twists as rules will differ each half and will be introduced for the final 3 minutes of each half. Here's where you're following?
Yes, I'm with you so far.
including a 3 versus 3 format. Goals scored from the back 2/3 of the pitch count as double, and 1v1 starting from behind the halfway line with no hands allowed.
What? Like goalies, though? No goalies.
I think the goalie's not allowed to use their hands, basically. And their penalties are like the MLS ones. Remember those where it's the one-on-one take-on thing. So you're probably wondering, well, what the hell were all those YouTubers and footballers doing? This is where it's a pretty clever bit of marketing, I think. So the players are just taken up on trial basis. So there's trials taking place in London, Manchester, over in America as well, of former academy players, street and football players, and futsal players, free agents, or recently retired professionals. Where it differs is each team will be managed by a celebrity or an ex-footballer or a group of ex-footballers or celebrities.
Oh my God.
So, just as an example, one of the teams will be managed by Gary Lineker, Mika Richards, and Alan Shearer. There's an Arsenal Invincibles team with Perez, Ljungberg, and Jens Lehmann, John Terry, and Lewis.
Jens Lehmann?
Yeah, Jens Lehmann, it says here.
But didn't he steal the Invincibles name?
Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, maybe him, Ljungberg, and Perez were in it together.
Yeah, that was a story a few weeks ago, or more than a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I guess, where
he just took it because no one had it.
He copyrighted the name Invincible in the head of Arsenal, and now he's like, hey, we're going to be the Invincible team.
Guess what their fucking team's probably going to be called, Carl? I'd say that's why he took it.
Oh my God, he's been in this. He is also German. I bet he had the inside track on this.
Yeah, 100% actually. Hummels and Podolski were definitely onto him.
And he was like, well, what if I... He's like, nah, you're not big enough name, actually.
I've got a big enough name.
What if I told you I had the biggest name there was? What if I told you that there's something that hasn't been copyrighted that I could easily copyright and no one's going to care? Oh my God. There we go. Like, I should have got my tinfoil hat on that one. Damn
it. John Terry and Luis Figo are also managing. The Sidemen will be managing a team. Angry Ginge will be managing a team. Ronaldinho is managing a team. KSI will be heading up the UK League, while I Show Speed will be heading up the US League. Each week will be shown or broadcasted and hosted by Chunks. So there you go. I think it's like an all social media thing.
God.
It's nearly sounds palatable, and then they throw loads of stuff on. It's like, it's for kids.
Yeah, it's going to be KSI and it's going to be KSI and Speed barking at each other and fucking, Chunks, and it's going to be
Ginge in a suit swearing on the sideline and stuff.
Yeah. Notable admission is Young Philly, of course.
Yeah, he was definitely slated for this.
Yeah. Wow. Talk about bumbling the bag just before you really hit the big time.
What about the Ballers League? His legions of fans cry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I imagine. See, this is what we said about the All-Star weekend, the five-a-side thing. But it's just like people would they warm their way into these things. And well, what about if my guy was in there? What if we made it like a KSI thing? And they show people the money, they show people the numbers. Like, do you think fucking Alan Shearer wants to be ever caught for like 5 minutes where he has to talk to I Show Speed?
Yeah.
About anything. You know what I mean? Or like, he's like, well, I'll risk that possibility if the number is big enough.
Exactly. And what I think this league is, we've talked about this loads off the show, but that new format for like podcasts, where podcasts are designed and promoted for the TikTok clips. They don't give a fuck if anyone actually listens to the show.
Yeah.
I'd say this is a TikTok clip heavy format.
Oh yeah, I'd say you wouldn't be unable to watch the whole half hour, hours on, but there'd be clips galore, and that would be enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have a team next year, the Ballers League. We manage our own team.
This is not getting renewed for a second season. No chance.
I think the way of the world right now, what's popular, I think this is going to absolutely fucking fly it. I think this is going to have millions and millions of views every fucking day on TikTok.
I think there's too many big names on this. I think there's going to be a huge amount of wages, for all these stars. They're going to want way too much money, and they're going to go, it's fine. We'll make it back.
I'd say the players on every team, like I said, it's nobody's essentially. I'd say there's going to be very little money spent on anything but the managers. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is what I mean. But the Shear's not doing it for free. Mika Richards definitely isn't doing it for free.
Insane. They're getting the 3 of them also. Just get one at a third of the price.
But KSI is not getting out of bed for anything. This will be like a documentary. They'll get these academy players and they'll keep them there for 8 hours of filming without feeding them.
Yeah.
And then I'll cut to the VIP stuff where all the YouTubers are behind, eating caviar or whatever. It'd be like Woodstock 99. That's what it's going to be like. And it's going to be a complete disaster, and it's going to completely fail, run out of money, and all the money will go on the YouTubers who aren't interested in it. This to me is an absolute disaster when it happened, because it's the idea will be good 5 years ago if someone was actually innovative and said, listen, I know you've never heard of this guy called Chunks, but he's a star, and I think we should start a league with him, and that's how you make the money. But because they're already established stars, they don't have to pay them so much money to even get them in the room. And I mean, they're not going to be bothered with this. They're going to be like, when are we done? Are we done with this today? We have more to do. My God, the players, say ex-academy players, futsal players, street footballers, they'll just happy to be there. They'll get screwed. This is going to be, there's no chance this goes for more than one season of this. No chance.
We'll be there to report on every step of the way on the Ballers League. We'll start a Ballers League show maybe on the Patreon, will we?
I'll be there to report the downfall for sure. And clipping this and show how right I was about everything. Is there any Champions League this week? There is tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Just a matter of hours.
Football never ends. Less than 12 hours. Football will begun again with Slovan Bratislava versus Milan. We will be back during the week, I suppose, to report on some of those games. Man City, Feyenoord, can they go 5 for 5? 5 losses against Feyenoord? But they might. We'll be reporting on those games. So that's for ultras only. You're becoming ultras, you gotta join the link in the description of this episode, and that'll take you over there to the ultra section. You can join. Bonus episode every week. Backlog of all of the previous episodes. We do Champions League episodes, cup games, anything happens middle of the week, any scandals, any other games. It's all covered there. So get on that. Hey, maybe you could buy someone a subscription for Christmas.
You can gift them now. That's a new thing. We got that email. Yeah. Send someone the gift of the No Nonsense podcast.
That would be great.
Great for us. Imagine being that person.
Well, look, folks, maybe you're in a Secret Santa in work. You don't know the person that well. I mean,
you don't really care about their opinion.
Maybe it's if it stays anonymous, they'll never know. If they're like, that was the worst podcast.
Oh yeah, if it's anonymous, definitely gift them the No Nonsense podcast. They'll never know. It's just money right in our pocket.
Best case scenario, they go, that podcast is actually brilliant. I'm so glad I got that. You can say, that was me. You're welcome. If they go, that was a load of shit, they don't know anything, then don't say anything. Just move on. Okay, right. Well, there you go. You can do it though. You can do it, I think, on Patreon now. You can
you can gift
the podcast. So give the gift of Shy Talk this Christmas.
We're going to be like one of the big Twitch streamers soon while we're doing the podcast. Be like, thank you for the 100 gifted, John, whatever. You know what I mean? They'll just be flying in.
It is funny. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate all those streamers and YouTubers, but I would sell my soul to be one of them.
God, yeah. I've been watching Kai Cenat in his house doing nothing.
Fuck him now. Forget all that. He's the worst.
The money, and he's not doing anything. He's just sitting there listening to stuff.
Oh, God. The American ones are worse. All of them are so much worse than the English ones. But anyways, we're better than all of them because we're cool guys. We're actually just chill guys who deserve the money to do nothing. Anyways, look, we'll see you later on the week. The Ultras, everyone else, we'll see you this time next week. have a monumentous week.
Wow. Yeah, huge.
Good luck.
That's a new one.